Technology.
There you go.
Be
There's a
recorded.
guy there that could build it for him.
Yeah.
I got it. All right, we'll begin with the flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Did you look at that, Phyllis?
Well, I might stop and maybe put a bug in here.
Yeah,
You're looking for work.
That's kind of help the community.
Yeah. All right, we'll begin the Marion County Commission meeting, December 12th, 2022. We begin with public forum. Is there anyone in the room who would like to speak, or is anyone online who would like to speak?
I'm not seeing any.
Okay, Lou?
You know, since I'm here, I'll just, again,
Yep, Lou Thurston.
I'm Lou Thurston, I'm the mayor of Hillsborough, and of course I've addressed you before on the issue of the county administrator, but what I'm hopeful today is that you'll be ready to take some action on this matter. You know, I got to thinking about some of the issues that we deal with, and probably the most attention we ever gotten, anything we've done since I've been mayor, is a dog ordinance. And boy, did we have some people fired up about a dog ordinance. But I guarantee you that 90% of the time, what the people expect from us is to look out for their best interests, keep taxes in line, you know, keep our city services going, our streets, our water, our electricity, our health and safety, our fire and rescue, police, etc. And you know, this is no dog ordinance. I mean, this is an important step, and I think we all know that our lives and jobs aren't getting easier as we go forward. And you know, I keep looking out at all this stuff that's coming at us out of Washington, and you know, everybody tells me how wonderful all this money is that's coming, you know, but that money's got to come from somewhere, right? And the biggest thing is figuring out small communities how to take advantage of it, you know, to our benefit. And again, you know, having a professional in a position to be looking after that and efficiently running the county's business day in and day out is extremely important. And again, I just hope that you'll respond favorably and take action. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you. All right, we'll move into agenda approval. Any additions or changes to the agenda?
5-minute executive session, personnel performance under road and bridge.
All right, got that. Anything else? All right, we'll move forward into administrative. Tina?
Okay. In your packet, you have the minutes of November 30th.
Okay, Commission has had a chance to review the minutes November 30th. Is there a motion to approve?
So motion.
Motion by Commissioner Gehring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
We do have some salary changes.
Salary change for Shelby Schroeder in the appraiser department from $23.47 to $24.42, effective 11/21. Additional duties and training for GIS position.
That's a monthly amount, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
Salary change for Krista Schneider in the health department from $6,633 to $6,807, effective 12/5/2022, raise per contract. salary change for Aaron Slater in the sheriff's office, $19.31 an hour, effective November 27th. We hired a sheriff deputy K-9, previously employed. And finally, in dispatch, Megan Cheezick, $15.98 an hour, effective December 1st. Change from part-time to full-time 911 dispatch. No change in pay.
Wanted to make the board aware that we had an issue with some of our tax statements. The vendor notified us that there was an error in the program. We got the notification yesterday, and it was misapplying the new limit for the SG, which is school general exempt for certain mobile home, property with mobile homes. So we have to do a new certification, and there will be a few corrected tax statements, so just making you aware. The initial report I got this morning, it only was, I think, a difference of like $260 in taxes total. So it's very minor for us here in Marion County, which is great. I will know more when we have all our checklists completed, and we'll have to recertify to the state, so.
Is that for every mobile home in the county?
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know which exact properties it is, but it's apparently that there were some. So this year, the SG exempt amount changed. It doubled from $2,300 assessed to $4,600 assessed on every residential property. And so apparently on some of the mobile homes, it didn't apply it correctly. So it's a problem that occurred all across the state with our vendor, and we were just made aware of it yesterday. Well, I don't remember which day, if it was today or Friday.
Is the vendor gonna make any reimbursements for the cost?
No, they won't. So anyway,
Well, thanks for letting us
Seem
but
right.
like I said, it's looking at this point from the initial report that I saw this morning, like it's gonna be really good for us.
Well, that's what the total is, under $300.
So from what I've seen so far, so there are several more steps that have to be completed. So if that changes, I'll update you.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that you knew about it.
Thank you.
Okay, in your packet, I put the pending holiday schedule. There's a couple questions on it, and also there's a payday schedule, which apparently I didn't get in your packet, but I have on the table there for you. So we've got a pending payday schedule for next year, plus the holiday schedule, with some questions. So last year, you added the Columbus Day holiday for the county. It used to be just for the state employees, and we were working on that day. So the questions are which 2 days you want to designate for Christmas next year, and whether or not you want to add the Juneteenth holiday.
All right, let's tackle Christmas first. The choice would be a Friday or a Tuesday.
I go with the Tuesday.
You get one
So
day or 2 days off.
we have 2 days,
2
so it
days.
would be either Friday and Monday, or Monday and Tuesday.
Commissioner Garing would prefer the Monday and Tuesday. Other input?
So people leave town, that gives them a drive day back.
So,
Well, I mean, you're gonna have more time if you take the Friday and the Tuesday.
No, it's one
No,
or the
it
other.
would,
It's
it's
one or
one
the
or the
other.
other, right, unless you want to give a third day.
I'd say, I'd be in favor of Tuesday.
Okay.
So you're gonna have 2 days, only gonna be open 2 days in December that week, last week.
yeah,
Because it'd be, what is it?
Well, it's right here on your calendar.
Yeah, there's a calendar behind there.
Yeah. And it's gonna be open 2 days, because you got
New Year's
29th
right
off.
after it.
No, the 29th is payday. We will be here. We'll have 3 days of work that week.
Okay, okay. I just seen it in blue, I was thinking that
Blue
was.
would be.
Yeah, those are the
Paydays.
paydays.
Okay.
And you don't want,
Okay,
you don't
3
want
days.
people traveling Christmas.
Okay.
Okay, but do I get a consensus for Monday, Tuesday?
I would,
Okay. The next question would be the Juneteenth.
I would recommend not to do that one.
One second.
So how about if we have a motion for the closing dates for Marion County Courthouse as proposed without Juneteenth and Christmas being the Monday and Tuesday?
So moved.
Okay, that's Commissioner Gearing's motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Commissioner Crowfoot. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We have our schedule. Next would be payday schedule. Those are the ones in blue. Any questions on those?
Make a motion to approve the 2023 payday schedule as outlined.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Any discussion or questions?
We're still moving that last week meeting, if it's Monday or Tuesday, to be with payday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There's going to be quite a few of them. Almost all of them. All right, we've had the motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Can we have a discussion on payday while we're on it? About, how long ago was that we changed to a payday meeting, Randy? 4 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
We went to what we called payday meeting about 4 years ago, so that we could get in early enough to give the clerks and treasurer's department time to take care of the monthly stuff. But we've reverted back to a regular meeting. So if we're gonna revert to a regular meeting, let's call it a regular meeting, or let's stick to payday.
Okay.
You don't want to do business on payday meeting.
No, there was no new business on payday. Well, there may have been some administrative, but there was no agenda.
It was just a payday.
Well, pros and cons. Pros of doing the business saves a trip and another meeting. You can conduct business on payday.
I'm not saying one way or another, but if we're gonna have a regular meeting, let's call it a regular meeting, get rid of payday.
Or call it a regular meeting, including payday.
And I think what happened,
And have it at 9:30.
But still have it early.
First thing in the morning.
Right, right.
I think what happened in Kansas, you know, we said, oh, if you got a quick item, put one item on or something like that.
But
And all
it's
of a
not
sudden-
anymore.
Then all of a sudden, it's just through the time, it keeps getting bigger and bigger.
I'll take credit for that, because I figure we're here, let's get
Yeah,
some business done.
so that is true.
I'm saying that there was actually action taken to
Okay.
correct,
Yeah.
to
It's
start
still-
have a payday meeting.
It's kind of a blend, honestly, because looking forward on the next year. So March, April, June, August,
Well, if it's on,
September,
if it's on a regular day,
November.
meeting day, would be anyway.
and December are all
Right.
still just payday meetings.
Yeah. That's right.
The other ones that are closer,
So I believe the history was, if I'm not mistaken, that you took action with a prior board
Right,
to only do payday on payday and to keep all the other meetings in place.
right.
And then I believe with the new board, you passed a resolution setting your meeting dates and times, and that payday meetings would be set at the last working day of the month at 9 o'clock. And I would have to look at that resolution to see what you said about business on those.
So,
But I thought it may have changed at that time when you passed that resolution.
so like on September, you would have met September 25th and then the
Yes.
29th.
Yes.
Okay.
you still will.
Yeah.
Well, no,
No, so the way it
we're
was,
doing business on a payday meeting.
okay, on the previous board.
That's
where
why I
you-
said, if we're gonna change it, let's change it to a regular meeting.
Where you took that action to do payday only, you would have met, if payday's on a Tuesday, you would have still met on Monday and met also on Tuesday.
Yep.
That's what that action was at that time, and that's before you adopted the resolution to set it up the way it is now, so. but I can go back and look at the resolution that you passed to see what it says exactly
Yeah,
about what business.
I'm not advocating one way or another, but if we're gonna have a regular meeting, let's have a regular meeting.
Okay. I'll ask Tina to bring that resolution to next month's meeting. And we can review it. That way we can be consistent, because that's a very good point. And I will say, I've been running with it as, if it's within a day or two, we're having a meeting all day. We're not gonna have 2 meetings today.
Right.
But it needs to be clarified.
Because
Very good.
some of the guys that are here.
Right. If we're here, let's do business. But let's clarify it. All right, next.
So, can I ask
Yes,
another question?
yes, yes.
So do you mean that you would just want, the only thing we haven't done is put public comments on payday? So is that what you mean? You'd want to add, if we're doing business, add public forum or?
No. I'm just saying, if we're gonna have a payday meeting, let's just do payday and be done. Not have any type of agenda.
Oh,
Just payday only.
okay.
You want to meet the Monday before then, do business?
Well,
I'll bring that resolution back so you can see what the
If
most
payday
recent
falls
action
on a
was.
Monday,
Or if it falls on a Friday,
then you won't have a meeting at all.
no, if it falls on Monday, you're gonna have a regular meeting, that's your regular meeting date. Regardless of payday.
We'll clarify it next week.
Okay.
Thank you. Next item?
Next item is a resolution to ratify the verbal disaster declaration for the wildfire that occurred on December 1st. And this would be resolution 2022-33.
Okay, Marcy had called me that day to be prepared, and then when the time came, asked for a declaration. Fortunately, they did not have to use the air tanker, but it obviously was a very serious fire. Is there a motion to approve disaster proclamation resolution 2022-33?
I'd make that.
Okay, Commissioner Galkey made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. 5-0.
I think a while back, we allowed the chairman to go ahead
Yes.
and go after that, and then we would get together a week or
Right.
so later.
Yeah.
Right, and that language is in your resolution. It references
Oh,
where that
yes.
authority was granted.
And that's a quicker response.
Yes, she doesn't have to contact all 5 commissioners. In an emergency situation, every second counts.
Have a recommendation for appointment to the Marion County Mental Health Advisory Committee. And the recommended person would be replacing Evan Yoder, and it is Antoinette Root, and she is the superintendent of Peabody Burns School District. So I have that.
Yeah.
for you to-
Didn't know her name.
Very good.
I don't go to school anymore.
So that would be by official action too, if you want to appoint her to that board.
Would there be a motion to approve Antoinette Root to the Marion County Advisory Committee for peer review?
Okay, that is our job, correct? To appoint these people
Mhm.
for the whole board. They don't have to find their own or anything.
Right.
Okay.
She's from
I
Marion
believe you
County.
make all that.
Yeah, I'd make that motion then.
Okay, Commissioner Dalkey made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Crawford second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. There's some information on the back I'll sign and then pass it around.
She's been to a meeting or two, so I have met her.
Matter,
I did,
first time.
I remember that people in school, you know.
Didn't know her name. Evan, we really ought to send a thank you card for Evan.
Would you want to take the lead on that for us, or?
Make a motion to,
Tina?
yeah, okay. I just, everybody's in agreement with that, surely.
Yeah, just directed.
I recognize, let's do a motion. I recognize the motion from Commissioner Dalkey. to
Okay.
do a thank you from the commission to Evan Yoder for his years of service on
Yeah.
the committee.
Been on there a lot of years.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We do appreciate his service and look forward to the replacement's service. there's no signature, just the chairman. But there's information, I
It's just
thought you
information.
might appreciate reviewing the information. Budget transfers.
Yeah, in your packet, you had budgeted transfers for approval. Those are typically approved by formal action.
Okay, I would move budget transfer from road and bridge to special equipment, $116,666.66.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Okay, I've got a second one that's identical.
No, this is noxious weed.
Oh, that's why I did it.
Sorry? Yeah, I about jumped the gun on it.
Okay, I move to approve transfer in budgeted amount from noxious weed to noxious weed capital outlay in the amount of $5,000.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We'll get distracted. I move to approve the following budget transfer from county general road and bridge sales tax to capital improvement fund in the amount of $106,967, and road maintenance improvement, $7 million to capital improvement fund in the amount of $374,152.33.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Yeah, that's excited for
Noxious weed.
it. Yeah. Thanks for catching it.
I didn't know.
Let me know. Yeah, I know you did good.
I got that somebody.
No problem.
I got this.
He gets it, there you go.
Confusing me.
Fortunately, they are important details. All right, we got the budget transfers.
Okay,
Approved and signed.
thank you. A few weeks ago, I had put in your packet information, well, it was actually, I think, in your mail folder, about some funding that is available to Marion County. It's $100,000, and it is local and tribal community, local and tribal assistance and consistency funds. It's additional ARPA funds. And so there was a memo in there from the Lloyd Group about recommending that we apply for those funds. There are not very many restrictions as far as what you can spend it on. I have applied for those for Marion County, but I would like official action of the board to accept those. We should be getting it within the next week.
Is it the same avenue that Casey was?
I think that's exactly what Casey was talking about, but we didn't fully understand it, but now you've explained it to me.
Motion to accept those funds.
Evidently.
Yes, yes.
Motion to accept those funds.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Garing made the motion and gave Commissioner Crowfoot second to apply and accept those funds if awarded. Any discussion or questions? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you, Tina, and thank you to the Lloyd Group for catching that for us.
Yeah, and we will, so there will be reporting on that, but it's gonna be a lot simpler than what the reporting we're gonna be doing for ARPA, so.
Thank you.
Okay. There were a couple things I had under future consideration, under discussion. I had sent you a longevity policy for review, also some information about a possible road closure, and you'll probably want to have a property acquisition discussion.
Yes.
And all of those things can be discussed later in the meeting. We don't need to do it now.
Yeah, we have longevity policy on the agenda, the
Okay.
road bridge we can handle under
Okay.
that item.
Okay.
So we should be able to just make sure we hit each of them
Yeah.
at the appropriate time.
Okay, I just want to make sure that those are on your radar.
Perfect.
And that's all I have.
All right. Then we're ready to move into the court services office request.
I haven't seen any of those folks.
Okay. Have a seat up at the microphone, please. There's another chair. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Usually the only time we get to come talk is during budget time.
Yes.
I'm Boy Smith, I'm the Chief Court Service Officer. My office is in Geary County, but I'm usually here once a year when we do the budget presentation for any questions. This is Courtney Parker. In court services language, she is called a CSO2. She is middle management. She is here with me today because I'm housed in Geary County full-time. Courtney is housed here in Marion full-time. She is in the Marion County office 3 to 4 days a week, if not 5, and then spends time in Geary County and other counties throughout the rest of the week with the staff that she supervises. We come to you today with a request concerning our office space. I started my career in 1999, and I was placed here in Marion County as the CSO. I currently occupied the office that was now occupied by Community Corrections, Joe Forbes, the small one. I was never able to have the large office because that went to the officer that was senior between the two, and I was never senior. We currently are using that large office, and we have 2 staff in that office. We have 2 desks, 2 chairs, 2 computers, just because the workload that we are doing here has increased. The state allocated additional funding for us last year, and we used one of those positions for here. So we have a staff member named Bree who handles most of the casework. Courtney as a supervisor handles some casework, and then supervisor tasks also. Honestly, and I will tell the truth, that when we were looking at staffing, I would not have put a second staff member here, but Courtney did the measuring. She measured desks, she measured the space to see that we could fit, because I didn't think you'd fit another desk in there, to be quite honest. We can, but we have room for 1 chair between the 2 desks. So we can only see 1 person at a time. So if Courtney is seeing a client, Bree can't. There is 1 phone. And so the phone sits at Bree's desk because she's junior, so she gets to answer the telephone. But we are utilizing the space. The space works just fine, but it came to our attention that the county attorney's office was moving. So we understand that there could be plans for that space already. We understand that there is a lot of planned movement throughout the county and throughout the courthouse. But what we were looking at is, should that space be available and be allowable for us? There are 2 individual offices and then a lobby type area. We could utilize that space until this building was no longer functioning. I do not ever see us getting any more staff and growing out of that space. We could have space for each Courtney and Bree to have their own office. We could utilize the entry area as a lobby, so we wouldn't have clients waiting in the hallway. We could chair that up, and we could have it pretty much self-contained. One other issue that we have is we do a lot of assessments nowadays, and those assessments ask very deeply personal questions. So if Courtney is doing an assessment, Bree leaves the room because it's appropriate, and the other way around. If Bree is doing an assessment, Courtney will then find somewhere else to work during that time. Courtney is also a supervisor, so that gives her personnel issues and personnel tasks that she must complete, which she cannot do while she has an office mate. And there is only 1 phone, so most of the time those conversations are done on cell phone. So all we really wanted to ask was to be considered for that space, because we know that space is at a premium in this building. And we wanted to make sure that if there were any things that we could answer for you about our motives and intentions, that we could answer them for you directly. Courtney took some pictures that I will pass around just to show how she envisioned this space as functional, because truly I did not. but these are how we currently have the office set up. 2 full-size desks, 2 full-size office chairs, 2 computer setups. It is a 2-woman office that handles business. No, sir, they're different.
Oh, okay.
And when you open the door, you open the door, you step in, you close the door behind you so you can get to Courtney's chair. And sometimes when Courtney's in the Junction City office, I will come down and spend the day working with Bree and helping her with any tasks. It's a pretty neat little nest back at Courtney's desk because you can't go too far or you hit the wall. But it's truly functional in
You
the way.
got windows.
Yeah, it does. It has lovely windows. It's a great office. And when you're a one person in that office, it's a huge office. But truly, I wouldn't have even got the tape measure out because I never thought another desk would fit. But,
Is it upstairs?
yes, sir, it's right. And that's another thing. If you'd ever like to come by and see it, please feel free.
Okay.
And then there's kind of a contingent request built within this also. Should we be able to move, those 2 offices that are right next to each other have typically been court services and community corrections together. If we were able to move, I would like community corrections to have the opportunity, if they wanted it, to then move into the larger office. That would then open up the smaller office for conference room, attorney meeting room prior to court, something like that. But keeping community corrections consideration for that larger space too would be nice. But again, I understand the premium that we have. I spoke with our IT guy because the court is on a different network than the county. And I asked if there would be any issues or concerns with running the network from our space up there to that space. And he did not believe so because the network is already run to the county attorney's office. They would just have to work with the same pathways and get the wiring through the same holes, but it should not be an issue. We know that office space is functional and sound, so we don't have issue with that. We would make adjustments to paying for the phone, like I pay reimburse for the phone now. We would just reimburse for 2 rather than 1 to that office space. The vault that's in the county attorney space already has things stored in it, and we would not have issue with that storage continuing as it is. There's still a little bit of room where we could put some things, but we don't have any expectation that whomever uses it now takes all their stuff with them. But we really just wanted to kind of get our name on the list. Do you have any questions of us?
I appreciate you bringing that to our attention, because that's one of the things, is finding all the pieces of the puzzle. Just when we get close to getting them together, then we'll find another piece and rearrange the puzzle again.
Sure.
So if there's a way we can fit that piece of the puzzle in, we appreciate you bringing the need to us.
And again, we don't see ever growing any larger than we currently are. Number one, the court system to the state of Kansas had unprecedented growth over the last few years. And one of the benefits to that is the county doesn't pay our payroll. So I got 3 new staff members that I have scattered throughout the district. We got 3 new spots, but we had 1 leave. We were offered 5, and we accepted 3 because we didn't have. In every office that we have in the district, we are at maximum capacity. I have no more room in Geary County. So there's a consideration of moving office spaces there too. But that space, to move us into it, would be expensive to remodel. In Dickinson County, they just went through the courthouse remodel, but fortunately, court services got 3 offices, which we have filled. Morris County, we have 1 office and 1 staff member. So currently, this is our only doubled up one. So again, we understand the issues, we understand what you're trying to, the puzzle that you're working with, but we would like to be a piece also.
Very good. Any other questions?
I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but we do conduct urinalysis testing, and we would continue to do that upstairs.
Okay.
As we currently do, we wouldn't do that down here.
Right.
And we would be diligent in utilizing that internal lobby so we didn't have people out in the hallway or anything like that as much as we can.
Right.
Help to control traffic coming through the front door. And if that move were to happen, we wouldn't need the alarm on the door that the county attorney currently has, because we would want it to be able to pass through freely without having to code in. So we wouldn't need that.
Okay. Good. Well, again, thank you for bringing your needs to our attention. Obviously, integral part of our court services and the services we offer in Marion County. So whatever we can do to accommodate, we will try.
Okay,
But
we understand.
No promises.
We understand. But thank you for the time.
We're gonna shift some pieces.
Thanks for the work. If we don't know it,
Sure.
we can't fix it.
Yeah, and it was an interesting time for us over the last few years with getting more staff members.
Yes.
Because it's a really neat offer, because when we get staff, payroll is covered. We don't have to adjust for payroll. It's like, here are more people. That's great. Where am I going to put them?
Right.
You know, because I can buy a desk and I can get you a new chair, but if I don't have an office to put you in, I don't really know what use I can do with all of these people.
Right.
So,
Very good.
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a
Got a
good day.
piece of the pie.
I expected that when we got done shifting, because there'll be something freed up at the end.
Yes. Yeah, very interesting. All right, next item would be the county administrator resolution. Tina got that redraft to you all early last week, I believe, shortly after the other meeting. Any questions on the resolution?
So if we pass this, what, that means that we're gonna approve it and start a search, or start looking for somebody to do a search?
The first step would be approving the resolution creating the position. The next step will be how the commission wants to proceed as far as drafting job description and then doing the search.
And ultimately, at the end, it would be a contract negotiation to where, so if certain things don't match up, the contract will supersede. So if there's job details or something that,
And that's not gonna be a short process. And that's where Commissioner Garing and I both agree, we need a professional that focuses on that type of work to help us. So the commission all agrees on those job descriptions and how to proceed, how to move into the process of selection, which we all agree. If we move forward with the county administrator, we've got to get the right person. Has to be the right person. Yes.
I had some phone calls this last week, and I'm glad to say that I'm just not sitting here voting for myself. I'm voting for a lot of the public that's very upset with going ahead without taking a vote. So, what I will tell you is, due to that, is there will be a no vote from me, because we're not even letting the public even talk about it. We've done that before, and I think there's a lot of people out here not saying nothing. A few that I had said, we'd like to start a petition. I said, well, let's go ahead and start it. I said, I don't have a problem with that. But I do think we need to, you know, if the public votes it in, we'll vote. We've got the public behind us. Right now, we may not have the public behind us.
I did get a couple against, and I spent the time to detail out on what the administrator position was. They no longer were against it, just with a little simple explanation, so. And then I also explained on some of our other votes and how close votes were, and how when I talked to the public, it's generally the consensus of the public, so we as an elected body represent the public, and they seem to understand that just fine.
I also had several calls, and they weren't all just against, but I asked them if they had views to come speak. None showed up today. I did have one said, well, I would have been there last week if you'd had a meeting. Well, I said, you've got opportunity again.
You have a second chance.
You've got opportunity again. The only question is being transparent enough to give the public a voice if they want to come in here. Looking at it today, you'd say they don't care, but I don't know.
I think that's
My only thought would be to move the move the vote on the resolution to next week so that we can say, hey, we're transparent. You've had opportunity to come in and speak. You didn't.
The one this morning called me early this morning. I said, you can come in, but they said, well, if you already, it's gonna be brought to your table today. I said, well, it's gonna be on the table today, so they're not here either.
You know, and, you know, so I'm saying we need to give ample time for those that feel like they want to speak. And the only thing that and I'm not saying I recommend it or anything, but to give them till next week based on the fact that we didn't have a meeting last week.
Spin it the other way. This gave more time for more awareness for them to make this meeting, rather than taking it up while he was gone and just rushing it through. We did give an extra
Give
time.
them 2 weeks to.
Yeah, and it was well publicized.
What would you, well publicized, just in the paper here?
Yep.
That was it.
All the paper.
And the other press.
It did put it.
All the papers.
I'd like to know what the percent is right now that knows what we're doing today.
Very little, very
Very
small. I
little.
mean, that's normal.
Yeah.
But I had, 5 people contact me, 4 was for and 1 was against. And the 4 were kind of business leaders, active in the community, helping Marion County grow. And I feel this could be a large step to take us to the next level, maybe. Nothing's
Just-
guaranteed though.
Just to keep up on some things.
I think Mayor Thurston made a good comment. Just in the 6 years since the last election, how many rules and regulations and demands have been put on the commission or on the county clerk or on their election officials, not just from the federal government, but from the state government. It's a whole new world.
Not to mention all the grants that are coming. And just
Opportunities.
Somebody needs to have an eye. I'm not saying they gotta be able to write grants. I'm just saying they gotta be able to keep up on what is available.
This is just gonna let it start the surge, and it may take 1 or 2 years to find the right person.
Well, let's hope.
That's a question.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
It'll take as long as it takes, because I'm not gonna settle for not the right person.
That's right, we do that.
It has to be the right person. Well, I guess, obviously, I'm in favor of professional public management, have been from day one. I did not get a single call anytime, the entire process opposed. I had a former commissioner that's in my district, but he never took the time to call me. No one took the time to call me. If they want, like Commissioner Gary commented, if they want to talk behind the scenes, but they're not willing to come into this room, I think that speaks to a commitment to the opinion.
I have them contact me behind the scenes and was able to tell them my viewpoint, and told them I don't plan on lying to them, and this is where I stand. But
Yep.
here's this. And they didn't get mad at me and say that, they vote against me or this or that. They were okay with my decision after I explained it.
Well,
This morning,
I think most taxpayers understand the complexity of trying to run a county or any business anymore. And that sometimes you're gonna have to step out and seek professional help. That's not, it's a kind of a new thing for rural county Kansas, although it is changing. I mean, about every year I talk to a few more counties that have said, well, we've decided we're gonna go in that direction. Is there a pool out there? Well, we already heard, not much. So that's gonna take some time. The only point I was making is that the people that I had talked to that didn't show up, but maybe they would, to give people a chance. If we'd had a meeting last week, I'm fine. Let's vote on it right now. But I told them if they have a view to express, just come and tell us what their view is. We're open to listen to anybody, and that's the only reason I would say that if we could wait 1 week, we've given everybody the opportunity. We took an opportunity away from them last week. We didn't meet.
This one this morning, and I didn't get her top of her, where she stopped at, but she said only 13 counties has administrators.
That's wrong.
No.
And I don't know where she cut it off, in our size, 3 or what.
It may be over a certain population.
And that's where I didn't get that, where she cut it off at, but I thought that was, she'd done some sort of research to come up with that, so.
I talked to people at KAC, other commissioners, and counties that are way smaller than us, like 5,000 pop. We're looking for an administrator. I had another one that had 8,000 pop. That I think it was Wilson or Woodson. I think it was Wilson. Got one. Everybody's making that move around us, and they're smaller than us. So the argument we're too small, it doesn't hold water.
And I'm gonna come back to giving another week to consider it. That's another advantage to have an administrator. You keep the process moving. What I've seen in the last 2 years, what this commission does best is put things off a little bit, put them off a little, put them off a little, put them off a little.
No, I don't think necessarily we've put them off. It's just the hoops that have to be jumped through. And I think our county counselor can vouch for that. You know, there's a lot of things I think we wished we could have acted on months earlier, if not a year earlier.
Well, the meeting prior to the one that would have been last week, it was pushed off on that meeting.
Yes.
Just because we didn't have it time to review it.
Right.
So it feels like it's getting pushed off.
Yeah, the hope was to approve it 2 weeks ago. So we pushed it off 2 weeks and gave people 2 weeks. I don't agree with that argument. All right, is there any other discussion?
The only other discussion that was brought up to me was, it was either a 5-member council or an administrator.
Yeah.
That's why it was pushed to 5 county commissioners. And that was true. In the vote, that was part of it, more or less, that it was put to them that way. That, well, you can get it one way or the other, which way you want. Well, they chose the 5 commissioners. So if we go back to administrator, are we going to go back to 3 county commissioners?
I'm not opposed to exploring that. I'm not.
There were a lot of other motives going on around at that time.
Yeah.
I think this time you have a clean, I don't see any agendas or motives other than doing what's best for the county. Am I incorrect on that? This is simply a discussion on whether this is the right route for Marion County.
Well, you see my point, though, that if that's the way it was put out to the public, more or less, you're going to get 5 county commissioners or administrators.
Again, I go
It
back,
wasn't.
there's a lot of confusing
It
things.
wasn't, those were 2 years apart. There was an administrator come across a ballot.
Yeah.
And I remember it. I mean, I didn't know squat about an administrator back then. And then by the time the 5 came on, it was, oh, well, administrator would have paid off, but, well, that's not back on the ballot, so let's go with 5.
Well, I actually believe when it was on the ballot, if it would have been sold to the public, it probably would have passed. There was absolutely nothing.
Well, and then on top of that, the turnout, there was a 30% turnout that year.
Well, you
And then it split
don't
down the
expect
middle.
much more.
But it split down the middle on a 30%, so you're taking a sample of.
So is that an appropriate vote then, to have a special election and get a real poor turnout?
It's gonna cost us, what, 15,000 to have a special election, I suppose, or maybe more than that now.
Good.
Probably 10 to 15,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
And is that wise use of the taxpayers' money?
Good point.
I would comment on one thing. fallen on my own sword. 2 weeks ago, that apparently was at least the intent to potentially take action on. I did not realize that, and what I was looking at initially was a much more general type of resolution than this. As you can see, we're 2 letters short of going all the way to Z in terms of the various descriptive elements of this one. When I talked with Commissioner Gearing, who was concerned about that afternoon, I didn't realize the job description was also not going to be part and parcel of this, because I thought that might be, so I had drawn it in much shorter form. I then went ahead and redid it and quickly contacted 3 or 4 more other counties. I had 4 to work from, and so I added that all to it. So that's my fault, and I will take that one on myself. I don't have any problem with that, and I apologize to all of you for that, because I really did misunderstand. I thought it was just going to be on for kind of a template for discussion at that point, and then moving forward with some additional drafts. Having said that, I think this one probably is about as thorough as any that I've seen. And then Tina has gone through, didn't really change any of the substance of what we did. I have a couple of things that I would just word semantics, just a word or 2 here that I would probably suggest. But other than that, this one covers the basis reasonably well. And as Commissioner Gearing indicated, contractually, you can make some alterations. This is the broad strokes element of it. And one other comment I would make is I hope everyone understands that if you create the position, that doesn't mean you're going to fill it.
No, we've had it, and that's what I've told everybody. They said, what kind of dollars? I said, so far we've had 140,000 on the budget for the last 2 years or 3. So I said, it's been on there, it's just we have not done nothing with it.
Right. And until we find the right person, it will not be filled.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gearing, do you have a motion?
What's the?
I'll make a motion that we table this until the 19th to be vote on the resolution on the 19th, at the 19th meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is that going to be an up or down?
What?
Is that going to be up or down?
Yeah, up or down.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion failed, 3-2.
What's your motion?
I just want to make sure if we take this up, it's at least a supermajority that approves.
I'm stating publicly that I'm for it. I'm just trying to be transparent here, folks. We did not have a meeting last week. We should have, but we didn't.
And one commissioner wouldn't have been here.
We still have a quorum.
But that did give them another week. And a lot of the people that contacted you wouldn't have contacted you if it was last week. Because you had several people contact you today. So I still argue that I don't agree with the argument. I disagree on that point.
Yeah, all mine have been in the last 2 weeks, or they've been spread out.
Sure.
All in one day.
Right.
Usually when I ran into somebody in public, they would say something. And we got one phone call, but 4 personal eyeball visits.
Right. All right, then I would like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-34, creation of Office of Administrator for Marion County, Kansas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garrett. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I would make 2 comments on this. These are, as I said, very minor. Actually, there were maybe more than 2 because I usually do that.
Okay.
On the second page of it, under the descriptive elements that are alphabetized, under G, I use the term all officers and employees therein shall be administratively responsible to the county administrator. It probably should be there under to fit better. And then under H, after looking at a number of the others, provide coordination across departments and agencies under the direct jurisdiction, and we have or physical, probably add a third word to that, the direct jurisdiction, legal or physical control.
Okay.
Does that makes a little bit of a difference? And then the only other comments I had were related to things that I had added after multiple discussions with various other counties. The supermajority I absolutely agree with.
Okay.
Generally, professionals are gonna look for that, because it can be in a situation where it's really, really easy to have.
I didn't see that in there though, Brad.
Well, it actually is under qualifications, it's just reworded a little differently, which I didn't have any disagreement with. County administrator.
Does it say supermajority?
No, it's under qualifications, last paragraph, the county administrator shall serve at the pleasure of the Board of County Commissioners and be appointed and removed only by a 2/3. When you have 5, that's gonna require a supermajority for that to occur. 2/3 requires 4.
You all discussed that and you asked that to be.
Yeah, I just thought I'd hear the
Yeah.
word supermajority in it.
And that's, I had kind of thrown that, that's why I had it highlighted in that version I gave you.
So, if somewhere down the line, the board was, let's say right now, 3-2, and it was brought up to release a person, if 3-2 would not release that.
No, requires 4.
Do we want that in there?
You need to make, as it stands, to be blunt, requires that that particular person who serves in that role make 4 of you sufficiently dissatisfied or upset, as opposed to 3.
Okay.
It's a job security issue. It's something oftentimes that a professional will look for, candidly, before they take on the job, because in a political environment, a 3-2 vote is not an unheard of thing on a regular basis. And if you relocate here and your livelihood is dependent upon this, and you make a decision as a professional, been there and spoken to that before myself, it is not unheard of to have several people disagree with that pretty vehemently. If 4 out of 5 do, then you really just aren't counting well. As a professional, you need to work at the pleasure of and the discretion of that body, and if they're not feeling like you're hearing them to the extent of 4-1, then you probably deserve what you get within reason. 3-2 is a little bit harder to do, but, and again, some of the counties still use the 3-2. There's a number of them surrounding us that do.
Some of the counties are still 3-member boards.
Right.
Supermajority is still 2-1.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything, that's exactly right, I was gonna say. And when you get to the dynamics of 5 versus 3, it's a fairly dramatic difference in a lot of ways. And the only other thing that I put in here several places, like under T, within proper scope of expertise and training. Having experienced it from my own perspective, we will on occasion get someone in a management position who, for whatever reason, believes they know the law, for example, a lot better, or they know engineering a lot better. There needs to be, you hire professionals to do certain things because that's what they do. The manager is there to manage and to oversee, not to dictate in that regard, because ethically it's a problem if they do. So that's why that was in there and worded that way.
It's still in there, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, I looked at that right away.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
So are you gonna make any technical change on there?
The only changes that I'm gonna make are the first 2 I listed, their into, their under, and add legal into the categorization under H. The other things are as they should be. I just wanted to point them out.
But there is a change in wording.
Yes, very minimal, yeah.
Okay, and then I make a motion that when
We already have a motion on
You got a motion on the table, okay.
But the change is there.
Do we need to wait till the changes are made?
On those 2, you can do it subject to review, subject to the staff changes that have been outlined for you publicly in this meeting, and it's approved. Because I've specified the 2. The other things that I'm listing now are just a couple of things that usually come up whenever I do anything like this, creating a position. For example, under W, one last one, identify and recommend individuals to the board for appointment. Doesn't mean that they're, it's a fait accompli, but they do have the ability, people may come to them and say, you know, if I had a chance, I'd like to serve on. And professionals should kind of put that in the back of their mind and bring that to you at the point where you're going, you know, it would be nice to have a slate of candidates or someone who's expressed an interest. And so it's just a way.
So is it wise to pass something that even if a word or 2 is not complete, when the public perceives that is, you've passed a resolution that you haven't even got quite worded right yet?
We've done that quite often.
I am able, whenever
Could
the
change it.
board is ready, to change it and you can adopt it in the current format. If you don't want to adopt it, subject to changes, so just let me know.
We've done that quite often.
And that's the extent of it. I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure I pointed those things out.
Trust that in your motion.
Yes, I accept the 2 minor wording changes in my motion. Do you accept it in your second?
Do. Second.
Other discussion? If not, I'm going to call for the roll call vote. All, David Mueller, I vote aye. Commissioner Garing?
Aye.
Commissioner Becker?
Aye.
Commissioner Crowfoot?
Aye.
And Commissioner Falke.
Nay, on, as I stated, I feel the public is not being looked at enough.
Very good. Resolution passes 4-1.
Shall I make the changes now
Yes.
before you
Yes,
sign?
please.
Thank you, gentlemen.
How do you want that exactly?
Lou?
Just insert legal or physical. It's hard to change that.
Okay.
And then this one just, they're under secondary. That's
Okay,
it.
and
Yes.
His time was getting stretched too thin, because we had to also make the same requests, and so he would just get stretched too far. Yeah, well, you know, I know that, and when we were there yesterday, we drove around and
Let's go back to
just
second.
it's hard, you know.
What?
And, I wanna figure out how to, and, you know, I know you may not agree, but this could help, you know, going forward. But he basically went this way, went down, he went to that and said, I'm getting stretched too thin.
Did you see that?
And Matt said, okay, here's what we gotta do then.
Yeah. Go by 2/3 majority. So it's appointed and removed.
Thank you for those.
And that is a good point. You also want to, kind of walking into the job, you want to at least know that
Well,
you
yeah.
hope it's a 5-0.
And you'd want to make sure that the majority, the super majority, starts out behind,
Yeah.
which adds another level of making sure you get that right person.
Mhm.
Say, this group come in, the court service people. We're still, we look for what we're doing for the county. If you want to do something for 50 years, just open your eyes up. There's another, I mean, there's, how many of our departments need more space? And,
You got a lot of shifting parts right now.
right,
Try to
right.
get some of that, take a seat somewhere,
Yeah.
and then look at the rest. Well, it's a valid point, but you got all these other cards being played right now that need to get,
Every office is full.
well, we just need to get some of these moves done and then see what's left. Put me up some sticks in the attic, in the office.
If we take all the stuff out of there and put it in a building, we might not be saving van moves, got the elevator already up there, so you want to take care of it.
And those guys down in Sedgwick County can't make fun of us for not having an office.
Yeah.
I just went ahead and printed a new one for
Excellent.
everyone.
Thank you.
I also put 2/3, like super majority in
Added the word.
parentheses, just to
Thank
clarify
you.
on the front page.
I just-
Like, double check, make
Very
sure everything
cool.
looks the way it's supposed to.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. You didn't get one? You got one on your computer?
I've got it. Yeah, I didn't print myself.
Is this the signature one?
It can be, yeah. Yes. Do you want me to make you a copy for you to read?
I'll do this. Resolution 2022-34.
22-34. Just make sure.
Yep.
It'll be ready for you shortly.
Very good. I just want to thank Mr. Gary for making it today possible.
It took everybody.
A lot of work.
Took everybody.
All right, we're ready to move into courthouse security. Steve, welcome.
Hey, thank you. How's everybody been?
We appreciate.
Wrong day to ask that?
No. Absolutely, we appreciate the service that you provided. I think it's been well received throughout the courthouse.
Good. I got a couple of great guys doing it.
Yes, you do.
And, yeah, I think the courthouse upstairs is happy with it. And I sent the proposed agreement to the county counselor and Tina, and don't plan on changing anything.
Okay.
Keep the hours the same, and the rate the same. The court sometimes wants a few extra hours, which we can accommodate, but budgetary wise, the 90 hours probably works great,
Good.
so.
Okay. Tina, Brad, did you have any?
No changes, it was provided that to me well in advance. I went through it, there were nothing materially different from what we had tweaked last year, so I have no suggested changes to it, it's fine.
Has there been ever any discrepancy? I've never heard, I mean, with this security.
What do you mean discrepancy? I
Anybody
just
had any
don't
problem
understand.
with it or anything?
No.
I know I hadn't heard of any.
This just looks, I mean, it doesn't look any different than
No,
what
it's-
it did before. It looks
It's the same.
just like a renewal.
Yep. Basically, that's what we're looking
When I looked down there at the bottom, where it starts talking about how many dollars per hour. And
Oh, yeah,
that's
which
just
is the
where
back
that's
page.
how I write to that
The
one.
back page is your first page, right?
Yeah.
Skip to the end.
That's what I did too.
Any questions for Steve?
We have just, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we did, and we're willing to provide security for additional events outside the court, which we did for the election.
Oh, good.
I think Tina asked us well in advance if we could, and we had there, so it's not that anything was gonna happen, but it helps.
Again, I think the courthouse and the commission's been very pleased with the service and your work and your men. It's worked really well.
Well, if any concerns come up in the future, just let me know.
Then I would move for approval of the courthouse security agreement. I can't find the name. SD security, sorry, it's too short. Usually they're about this.
You mean you need glasses like I do?
Second by Commissioner Gearing, thanks for bailing me out. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Again, we appreciate what you've done for us. And this is just a signature.
I know you got this on file, but I brought the certificate of liability too, which will be renewed in March. And I'll provide you another.
Okay. If you want to sign this, then I can
Yep.
get a copy.
You have a pin there, right?
There you go. Yep.
Sir?
No, I think it just gives a I would say, atmosphere, culture, security. Someone that maybe a little ornery sees a presence.
Well, especially some of the deals you deal with in the courtroom,
Absolutely.
the PFAs, protection orders, the divorces, you just don't know if somebody's got bad intentions for the other half. I mean, if I was a lawyer or a judge or just a juror, I'd be a little worried if I didn't know someone checked somebody out before they came in there.
Ash just making a copy. She'll bring them in a second.
You want me to go or?
No, you're good to stay. She'll be coming in here and she'll give you yours and they'll
All right,
have
all
tonight.
right.
and we'll
Made the
do it.
trip up here. You wanted to last at least 5 minutes, right?
Tell us one more story.
Yeah.
Well, we've had pretty good, no issues at Dickinson County. Of course, everybody goes through it there.
Right.
The only complaint that I hear daily is the entrance is now on the east, next to the new jail that was built. And the tag office is all the way
Yes.
to the west. And I had no say-so in that, but it doesn't keep people from venting their frustration. And I get it.
Yeah.
A lot of your elderly folks, to walk 10 feet is hard. But we have a wheelchair there, and I've taken many of them down there myself, and they do their business, we bring them back. But that's, the handicap folks, it's kind of tough on them, but they did put additional handicap parking up there, which is okay, but doesn't preclude them from not liking
Well,
it.
if that's the worst complaint.
The only thing I would say is if you guys in the future, let's say, if you have the funds, and maybe we have them there, those lock boxes, your police department, your sheriff's department have them.
Yeah.
For like when they go do interviews, they can put a knife or a gun in the lockbox and take the key out.
Oh, okay.
And,
It's like a bowling alley locker.
right,
Yeah, they had it in Dickinson County.
yeah. And if the guys had maybe just 2 boxes upstairs or something, they're making them take them back out to their car, and they could just put them in there.
Sure.
What we do down there is we have an orange tag on the key itself, and it has a little clip on the other end, like a name tag clip. We lock it, we give them back the key. It reminds them that little orange tag that they left a knife or a gun. And then, of course, we have a master key, so if they never come back, we can get it out of there. But just, if something, it doesn't have to be attached to the wall, even, it's just something.
Sure.
They can sit on the table.
That's a good idea.
This is for upstairs.
Yes, sir.
So why wouldn't the court system buy it?
Huh?
Why wouldn't the court system buy it?
Well, they could. if
They could,
wanted
they could.
Yeah.
I need to talk about that.
Yeah.
They'll just turn around and ask for more out of their budget, so that way they can afford it.
Does Dickinson County, though, when they make them come from the east, go correct to the west end, do they get to go out the side door then, or do they?
There is an exit where the old entrance was,
Yeah.
which is the west side.
And they can get out that when they
Yes,
get
they
the
can get out that way.
Okay.
They can
I
exit
didn't
from
know.
either where
Well,
they
we got
entered or the other end.
We got so many doors here that if we was to go to, like we did during COVID, to one door entrance, what we can do and what we can't do.
Well, then you gotta
And you got a security breach
You gotta talk to
access
your, you
point.
gotta talk to your fire marshals and all that stuff, because, you know, some doors just can't be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that West Storm monitored? I haven't.
It is by camera. We have a
Okay,
cam-
that's why.
We have a screen up there, we have cameras everywhere.
Okay.
And we're monitoring that as well, but the employees are really good down there at that west end. If they see someone trying to come up,
And slip in.
because when people are coming out, some people try to
Yeah,
come in.
yeah.
And we've caught
To avoid
several.
that, I saw that too.
Yeah, we've caught several, and the employees are really good about catching them too, but we're always watching that. Where our system can show us 9 different pictures on our computer. And, you know, for one person, that's a lot of, you know, there's probably 40 cameras around that place, but you can only put 9 up on the screen, so we try to put the the courtrooms, that kind of thing.
What you just said, Tina, I don't know, it's not done yet, our system's not done, but she has access, something like that.
Yes.
Our folks that work here have it.
But what I'm getting at is, at some point in time, can another person set up like what they're set up? You've got a desk right there or something, or do you have something where it can be hooked into the system? That's what I'm saying.
They have it on their phones now.
They have access to it. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into too much detail about all that
Yeah, right.
in open session, but
Right.
yeah, they have access to it.
That's neat, that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
The drawback to a main screen CPU monitor, the drawback to that is it takes somebody to sit there the whole time and watch it. And when you're running a security system like this, because the guard needs to be mobile, it's going here.
Well, thank you again.
All right,
We
thank you,
really
sir.
appreciate it.
All right, you guys have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Merry Christmas.
Kurt, Jamie, welcome.
I have very little just to touch bases on before we get into the meeting. But since the last time I was here, I was bringing you up to speed on some things. Last time I was here, we had ambulances breaking and crashing and all sorts of stuff. We did get that Florence unit over, inspected, and repaired from sitting there for 2 years. And it's about $3,000 in getting it up and going, but it is in service.
Good.
It's in the station.
Good.
The one that hit the deer has been fixed and is in service as well.
Great.
And then the Marion truck felt left out, so it had some issues and we had to have it fixed. But now everything is up and running. We are staffed everywhere. And hopefully now everything is smooth sailing from here on out.
Told you it'd get better.
Purple Wave is coming this week to get that one put on their site. Get some sales on that hopefully. And then as of December 21st, we should be up to minimum staffing where our part-time and full-time people are not picking up shifts every single week.
Good.
We do have a new hire and our people coming from leave are coming back, so we are slowly improving. And we're just now trying to get through the end of the year.
That's great news.
And then next week when we have our quarterly, we'll have everything for you. That was the touch base with you guys on since the last time I was here.
Well, nice to have good news after your first week.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to have good news.
Yeah, we told you it'd be better.
You couldn't get
I probably shouldn't tell you that he tried to quit like 4 times in the first few days. And we said no.
Good for you.
If you didn't, I would be scared.
He gave me the evil look and I said, okay.
Very good. Okay, we would like to have an executive session on contract negotiations. Okay, how long?
15 minutes.
15?
Better go 15 to be safe.
I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, W2. Item 2.
Yes,
Yes.
it's 2.
Okay, thank you. Item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with the commission, Kurt, Brad, and Tina for 15 minutes. Let's go from 1:50 to
Do
2:05.
you want Jamie as well?
Yes, and Jamie, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That would be my motion.
Second.
Sorry, second by Commissioner Gary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried. We will be back at 2:05. That is why you can't hear. You're gonna get rowdies in the hallway.
You know, all she's gonna do is go out there
Stir 'em
and stir them up.
When the door opens, everybody else.
Am I being picked on here?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. We're ready for Quail Forever. We have Quail Forevers out there?
I think they are.
I think they're out there.
You don't.
Sure.
Send the Quail on.
Jamie. Jamie.
Still ain't one picked up.
Hi,
Hello.
sorry for the delay.
Not a
Come on up
problem.
to
Good
the-
afternoon.
come up to
Thank
the
you.
microphone.
I'm in the hot seat.
There you go. Sorry for the delay.
Not a problem.
We're glad you're here.
Good afternoon. My name is Kylie Oliphant. This is Zach Haskins. We are members of the Marion County Quail Forever Board of Directors, and we come to you to ask permission if the Board of Directors can hunt and trap legally the predators on the landfill to be able to help the habitat such as quail, turkey, pheasant, and baby deer live longer for the youth that we mentor to go out and hunt them on their days, as well as ask you permission to extend. We have 3 boys that we're mentoring that went out and they hunted. You gave them permission, they hunted and all got their first deer. And so they'd like to extend it and do the doe season in January. It's January 1st through the 8th, yes. And I have the 3 boys' names. So that is what we come to ask permission for.
That's great. Questions?
We've always allowed the deer.
The 2 predators we're specifically looking to trap or hunt legally would be coyotes and raccoons because they're eating the eggs and coming off the baby fawns and turkeys and stuff. So those are our 2 main goals. As well as with the mentor program with Mike Christiansen from Wichita, we're also wondering if we could start doing some programs out there such as like the camping weekend with taking youths out there and having like a camp session and show them how to like set up a tent and camping survival as well. We were just asking if we could start using this land to better mentor youths that are in this program.
How about insurance? Who covers some of this?
We don't ultimately have to talk with them about our linebacker policy, and also I would probably draw up something so that we have who's out there, when, and for what purpose.
Yeah.
Because I know that's what the insurance company's gonna ask you for.
Who's in charge of that now? Is Dale doing that, or are you guys Dale out of it now, or?
Well, Dale is still involved very actively, even though he is retired from it.
Yeah.
And so Randy Jantz is
Would
our
be Randy
president.
Jantz.
And
Okay.
so we came on
Okay.
his behalf.
Randy,
Yeah, Randy's working,
Yeah,
yes.
that's right.
We're on his behalf.
And then one more thing, I did ask Bryce outside, we have a couple issues with some gates out there. You know, gonna need a little bit of welding. You know, if we were gonna do some hot work, I would think that maybe you guys would wanna be involved. I asked Bryce if maybe we could get a service truck out there. We just have a couple hinges that we need to fix so we can get some gates back operating. You know, we could bring out a private service truck, but I figured, you know, being on y'all's property, if we were gonna do some hot work, we'd rather work on it together as a team.
So it would be our liability that would cover it?
Potentially, at least depending upon what, again, what the circumstances are, it needs to be a little bit case by case. There are instances where, yes, we would, you can do an indemnification for, but I cannot guarantee you that that's always going to completely resolve it.
Well, I'm all in favor of it, but we need to make sure that, especially the trapping.
Yeah.
That's the only thing is, if it's box trap, okay, but a foothill trap,
Okay, and that being said, so we were talking about if we do trap, the Kansas state law says that it has to be checked every 24
Yes.
hours. So then that would be, if we had dog-proof traps, the raccoon traps, you know, the coon cuffs, we had them actively set, whether it's a box or a foothold, or a snare or what have you.
well, I'm
We
just
would have
saying,
to
we
be out
need
there
to
on a
make sure
daily
that,
basis.
that our liability would cover that.
And also the type of form that I would use would say that you observe any and all statutory requirements for
Absolutely.
that particular activity.
So risk and liability.
Yeah.
It would
You know, we
be
just
far
want to make
less
sure
with a
that,
box trap than it would be any other trap, because it's hard for a human to get stuck in that little box.
We're all in favor of what you do and what we set it out to do with this property. It's just a matter of making sure we're safe and legal.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well said.
Just, if we need to check that out.
I think I think as far as the extended season, I don't have any problem with that, because it's,
The regular season.
you can do the regular
Maybe
season,
different.
extended season, and the tag works for both, so we're just matching up with the state.
You don't shoot something that's got horns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then two of the boys are brothers, and then Randy Jance's son is the other one. Man, he's buddies with them, so Clayton Jance won't be hunting, but he still wants to have permission to be able to go with his two buddies to hunt, so.
He's already filled both his tags, so the other two boys would like to fill their other tag, but he wants to go with his friends anyway, so.
I'm gonna have to take him with me.
Seems to be a lot.
So I've got 2 open tags.
We'd love to take you.
I think it's great to be able to utilize that property for something like that. We need to make sure we got our I's dotted, T's crossed.
Have you guys seen much of the work that we've done out there since this has kind of got started with the bush hogging and the tree clearing and the stuff? If you get a chance, when you're out riding by the country, it looks way different than it did before you guys kind of let us start taking it.
If you would have a chance, would you happen to have before and after pictures?
Yes, sir.
If you could send them to Tina, then she can distribute them to the commission.
That'd be great.
I think that would really be awesome for us to see that.
Absolutely.
You said routine, not Ashley.
Yes, oh, yeah. This is mini me.
County clerk.
The county clerk, yes, I
So
see that.
does the commission want to split that into 2 motions or do it in one?
One.
Well, I mean, one, okay, extended season and then.
I actually might do that in 2.
I do too.
One's more of an extension of the previous motion, the other's new.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and allow for the deer hunt on the extended season after January 1st.
Okay, we have a
Extended
motion.
rifle.
Rifle, yeah.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Becker, second from Commissioner Gary. Ashley's getting all of that. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. So we got the extended season. Now let's go to the traffic.
Pending
Staff review and
liability.
approval.
Yeah.
We have a motion to grant the permission for trapping contingent upon staff review and approval. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Galkey. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Looking forward to more good stories.
Thank you so much, guys. What about the gate? Is that something I get with Bryce? Or?
Let us talk to Bryce.
Okay.
He's coming in next, and see if he can work directly with you. I don't think we really need action on it.
If you can spare the manpower.
Right.
And we can definitely bring manpower too. It just, we'd rather be you guys out there for hot work, of course.
I think that would probably be best.
Yeah.
Thank you,
guys. We
gentlemen.
really appreciate it.
Have a great
Have a blessed
day.
day. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Bryce, we need
I guess. You and I are the worst ones in the county. We can't hunt there. We both got open tags.
Bryce, if you want to come in and start, we may we'll interrupt in the middle of it, but we'll want to wrap up another issue. Jeez. I mean, I only made you wait an extra 15 minutes.
Okay. We can jump all over the county. What's the difference?
All right, got quite a list here. Fuel bids, MFA was low for transport. Recommend that approval.
MFA.
Yes. Give you a copy.
Wow.
Want to spread?
No, not hardly at all.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
Percentage wise, it's pretty small.
This one we can, no, this is gas, this one you don't break up, do we?
No, this is transport. This is the one tanker to our shop.
I'll take Bryce's recommendation, go with MFA oil. The amount of $34,006.10, which barely beats $34,298.
Got the motion by Commissioner Goering, second by Commissioner Galkey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
I kind of hope costs keep going down, but we'll see. So, 2 weeks ago, we talked about that Chase County LTAP thing for Road Scholar. Did you guys have any more comments about that, or good idea, bad idea?
I
Want
think
me to
it's a
proceed
good
with
idea.
it?
It's a good idea.
Okay, I will tell you.
Any opposition? No, okay.
I will tell you that I had a webinar or conference call this morning with a bunch of other people involved in that. They really thought it was a great idea too.
Good.
And so we passed it on to them, but they're really gonna start pushing that hopefully this next year or two. The last 2 years with COVID, it has really shut this program down. So anyway, I think it's a good thing too. So-
Yep, education for our employees is always
Yep.
good.
Just quickly, you thought any more about parking lot, redoing the parking lot out here? No?
What's your recommendation?
Well, I'm just saying, something needs to be done. It's, you have the little water standing all over the place, but it's just,
Was that a comment or just a?
I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, gosh, it was 6 months ago,
Yeah.
guys talked about there's holes that
Might have been longer than that.
yeah. The poor drainage with parking be like it is, all the water runs into it and everything else. The original price was somewhere like $70,000-$80,000 without going to bid, but that was just a rough bid to remove it and put concrete pavement in. So, but anyway, you said winter time, I just thought I'd bring it back up again, so.
Mr.
Yes.
The 10 cars back
Yep,
there.
yep. Now, if you wanted to, we could do something about the gravel going up to handicap, but anyway, it's just, I mean, you think about, we can talk about it next week, what we're gonna do too.
Could you bring us those numbers
Yeah,
back? 'Cause I
yep.
think, I sure don't remember. I
Well,
remember we
and
talked
I
about it.
And I don't know
Talking
whether,
about it.
well, well, we'll just talk about it later, I guess.
Yeah, bring us information next week.
Yes, I got,
I got request 2 bids.
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, at least that. I'll talk about that later. Got cans of plans, came back, he actually sent to me this weekend, so I have those. He just sent me the revisions, had a few typos and things like that. What we had talked about was setting up a bid opening on January 9th. Was that the 9th? Is that the 2nd? Is that right? January 9th is the second Monday. And doing,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
doing an opening like at 2 o'clock. That work for you?
Be in the commission.
Yeah, in the commission. He's gonna, with the consultant, they're gonna put it on their website, so should have a possibility of 7, 8 people looking at it. Don't know if they'll actually bid it. But anyway, if you wanna set that up, we'll put that in plans on the 9th at 2 p.m.
Sounds good.
Work for you? Okay. Any more discussion about talking with Hillsborough about funding money? They talked about providing the crushed concrete. I'll go ahead and talk about it. What we did was we set it up with 2 options. One option is to use removing everything, going back with crushed concrete and 8 inches of concrete pavement. The other option is to do a 10-inch cement treated subgrade. So they have the options, they can bid it either way. We would provide the crushed concrete either from Lincolnville or Hillsborough. We set it up in 5 different phases. The first phase would be the reconstruction of 190th and Kansas for 25 calendar days. Basically, we would go through, we would shut down the entire intersection for no more than 25 days, or no, it was gonna be 25 days. Then when they're done, they wouldn't have to mess with the intersection whatsoever. They'd be able to work up to it on both sides, so we wouldn't impact traffic. We are going through there simply because it wouldn't make much sense to come to concrete pavement, then have the asphalt in the middle. So we are gonna do that. Then we've broken the phase up between 56 and 190th into 2 phases. So the grain storage would have access all the time, as well as ag service. Broke that up partway through their stuff, and then that section. And then the 5th phase was up north of 56. But anyway, once I get all those plans, if you want me to, I can email them, or if you want to look at them, I have them.
So that way we don't have to try to acquire any property down there on the 190th?
Correct. Everything that they're gonna fit in there would be a 40-foot
I think
radius.
that's probably a good deal.
Yeah, there's just, and we got a lot of utilities there, we've got that big substation there, so.
As far as your phasing goes, you got the hoop building there and you got the sewer treatment,
Mhm.
or the ponds.
Mhm.
I believe there's access or could be made access to the ponds to the back alley.
We're looking at all those,
So you
including,
could
yes.
potentially shut the whole thing down as long as it was in the right time of the year.
Well, that's the whole point. Putting all this together, we're talking a 5 to 6 month project. So to say exactly
Well,
when
that phase, rather than working half or
Right.
doing something, just
we're gonna send letters to all the adjacent landowners to discuss those issues. We're gonna meet with both co-op and ag service to discuss that. What we're talking about is probably letting them start in the April range, but it has to be done by November 1st. So that gives them a little bit of leeway to go either way. So if some of the big guys get it, they'll come in and have it done in probably a couple months, which we don't really know. So and I think
as long as it's quality at the end.
yeah. Well, and we've also put another option in there, we use regular multi-component striping like we did on Indigo, or we could go back and put epoxy. They actually install epoxy because epoxy bonds with concrete better. We're hoping for a 30 to 40 year life of this pavement. Chances are with epoxy, we may not have to paint it again. So we're putting that as an option that we can choose.
Are you doing any shoulder work at all?
No. Nothing to existing shoulders. When we're done, we're putting an edge wedge on. The base is actually gonna be 28 feet wide, the pavement's gonna be 24 feet, that extra 2 foot is gonna be a rock edge wedge. Yeah, we're trying to do as little as
I
possible.
know it's on the Hillsborough side, but the approach into that facility so that it's not breaking off on the edge.
Oh, no, we've got, like I said, on the plans, it shows we have 6 foot pavement going back into all those places.
Okay.
Yep.
I just.
Yep. No, we're the same way. Well, and by doing that, it does attract as much material up on the road as well. So, but anyway, I have that. Like I said, just talked about whether, kind of up to you guys, if we want to just go ourselves or whether you want to talk to Hillsborough. So, I just mainly we get the bid letting set and then we can go from there. So.
Any other questions about how Bryce has set up the schedule?
We need to get a bid. I mean,
Yep.
the money's there.
Yep.
Got low interest. Don't want some other variable to mess with us.
Yep.
And I appreciate you taking special care of the businesses there and the personnel.
It's very tough. It's a narrow road, not having shoulders, it's pretty tough to work one lane at a time. Right. So that typically adds a significant amount to the price as well. So.
However, when the county does any road work with we're adjoining city or county, city or something like that we go and ask.
Again,
We've been there once.
Yeah.
No.
And that's how we got the crushed concrete option.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to obviously figure out exactly how much crushed concrete we have. I'd like to use mostly ours, but they do have theirs available as well. So we're, like I said, at least it's something to talk about. I don't know whether you want to discuss that too, is how much work you want to do next year, microsurfacing, or you want to push that off till next week. I know you have 40 miles. Okay.
I'm with Joe.
Okay. Well, I will tell you that I was over in Hillsborough this morning and I was getting a drink and a guy come up to me and he asked me about the road work on 190th, how it was paid for, what it was. He said it was great. He said the only thing was he wanted me to go do Kansas north of 56 now. So anyway, I said, well,
we're gonna do half a mile of that.
Well, I just
Still got a long way to go.
But anyway, he really liked the ride as well. So there's.
So half a mile is gonna pay off more. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Just concrete for the trucks to slow down.
Yeah. So.
I guess let's push a little bit more on the microsurfacing issue. We've talked about it briefly. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. I was kind of misunderstanding some of the numbers. Jonah was spot on. It comes out to about 40 miles. That if we can give Bryce the ability to go out and start working with the company to get that product placed, it's going to help us in the cost.
And it'll also help us in the timeline, so it's not
The
pushback,
time-
pushback,
It's
pushback.
40 miles that qualifies for microserving, or just 40 miles that we've identified?
Well, to say, if you look at basically any of these roads would qualify for microsurfacing because it's still better than a chip seal, but not to the
But
overlay.
don't you have to have a certain amount underneath there?
Not really, because there's very little weight, all the weight is on the truck. The thing is you have to worry about is down the road is more your traveling public going anything else. Again, this will get us covered, especially on the 20 miles of full depth reclamation, that would help that immensely. And again, the 40 miles does not consider the work that I talked with the wind farm about on the Nighthawk as well as Sunflower. We're still working on that as well. But anyway, like I said, just a matter of getting something lined up with them so we get some material coming. And
Seems like it's the best bang for the buck.
And it's not, until it's decided actually which road, although I got no reason to disagree with Nighthawk. I mean, we put too much money into that to not do something.
yeah,
But it's still versatile. This is just pledging
yes.
that we need 40 miles worth of
X
material.
number of miles.
Well,
We can do 50.
yeah.
We can-
And ultimately
We can all
it
argue
comes
who
down.
gets it.
Yeah. Ultimately, it comes down to the fact is that if we get that material coming and we get it here and something happens, that material can still sit there.
Right.
That's not really a problem. We can move it off or whatever else too.
And dollar wise, that fits into our
Okay. Okay.
Capital improvement.
capital improvement, and still leaves us cushion.
Okay.
Doesn't deplete it, but you knock out 40 miles, we're
I
making
think it's gonna go a long way.
impact, especially after what we've done this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I agree with Ken. I think it's a great use of resources.
Is there any commission opposition to having to proceed with 40 miles?
Okay.
In one park. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Can I do microservicing in the parking lot?
We had an employee last week that had an accident, was up on top of a ladder and the ladder slid out. So we had a workman's comp, he goes back to work, stitches, things like that. But it brings up the issue, and unbeknownst to me was this has been a problem at this shop for quite a while. So I'm gonna go back and try to look at getting these garage doors probably replaced. It happens to be at Peabody where the flood is, and if you look at the doors, they're bowed out. So anyway, I didn't really budget it for that, but I want to try to look into that because obviously this has happened before, I guess. And nobody fell, but one of the rollers falls out and everything else, and it's because of as old as they are. So I'm going to look at that, and we may be doing something else. So I just let you know there may be. I'll get bids and everything else for it, but we just can't afford to have people doing that. So.
Duke. Rent a scissor lift, super cheap.
Well,
From Duke.
yeah, and I mean, but the whole point is just why are we having a problem here? That's the whole point. Is you rent a lift to go up there and do 5 minutes worth of work as compared to not having to worry about it.
Fix the problem.
Yeah, that's the point. That's again, it's happened before, and I was like, oh man, So, but anyway, so I also need to look at the south shop. That door that's gotten broken into is fiberglass. It's got a hole in it. Looking at the trim, the face around it, we need to do some work as well. So just let you know we'll be looking at that. So Purple Wave, I thought a very, very good result on Purple Wave. We end up with $149,600 for road and bridge alone. And there was $4,900 for the Tahoe for the health department, $3,800 for the Blazer.
Which is like 4 times what they
Yep,
were offering.
pretty much.
You got
Pretty much.
4,900 for the Tahoe?
Yes.
And they offered 900 for trade or something like that?
I don't know what it was. Like I said, we just.
Oh, yeah, they would give you
9 or
that.
6
Yeah.
or something?
But, and you know, our state trucks
Oh,
brought
it was
like,
a long time ago.
was it 11 and 12,000, which was, a lot better than what we thought as well. So, but anyway, I kind of talked about it. I just sent them out today as I was going to try to get a new front end loader backhoe. Basically, with that money, they think it'll be pretty much no more than 150. So we'll see when the bids come due, and I have those coming in January 3rd, so they would actually be the next year. Everything has been removed as well from our.
Well, they already came and picked it up.
Oh yeah.
That quick.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
well, they
Usually
only
you
get-
got drag their feet.
No, they only get 10 days.
Yeah.
We had a couple last time that we started going after. One of them was those Volvos, and they finally got it. So they are working last week on the surveying on 290th. Once they get that done, they can start the design work on that, get that turned around for that economic development. The recovery for the rock that was accidentally put down on that road, our cost to go in and remove it was $2,002.06. So I'm gonna go back and request that credit from Linroom that way. So.
They acknowledged it was their mistake?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, they said they'd credit us.
Yep, yep. I got word on 2016 motor grader that's coming in, but I don't know if we can even swing that right now. So I'd like to say that be nice. Currently the rock haul, I believe they're on section 9. They have been we did not have section 8 on there because at the time we didn't have a blade man out there, but we've got a list together and I sent out to the other 3 local contractors to give us bids on that. So we'll get that done. Got an awful lot of good comments about that. So the only other thing I had would be a short executive session with Brad and the commission later on,
Okay.
5-10 minutes.
Is it on employee?
No, it would be on possible litigation.
Okay, and then Commissioner Becker wanted one on employee performance.
Yep, 5 minutes.
Let's do, what you said, contract, do yours first was what? Contract negotiation?
Possible litigation.
Possible litigation,
Yep,
okay,
so
sorry.
like 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Still be two, all of them were
Potential.
so.
Potential litigation.
Okay. I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with an attorney-client privilege with the commission, Brad, Ashley, and Bryce for, you said 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Let's go 2:35 to 2:45. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gary. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Back at 2:45.
Thanks for sticking around. It's gonna be a little longer.
10, sorry. I thought Tina would be right back.
Having the same problems that I had with
Oh,
it.
no. Having to type it from scratch?
This conference will now be recorded.
We are out of executive session, no decisions made. We're gonna shift gears a little bit, come back to EMS.
What'd you say?
We're shifting gears to come back to EMS.
Oh, okay.
Sit down.
Not ES.
I thought you were kicking me out.
No. This time, we want to give you time to sit down, because we are gonna take an action. So, I'm not trying, I'm trying to be transparent. So we have Kurt back. We've been presented with a Marion County Emergency Medical Services Transfer Protocols and Fees policy, and I would move for its adoption. Is there a second?
Oh, you make, yeah, I'll second.
Yep. Second by Commissioner Galkey. Any discussion on the policy? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you for your patience, and thank you, Brad, for all the background, and Tina also, and Jamie, for all your work to get us to this point.
So this one, the one that you have, or this one, actually this one would be the signature of the.
So are we gonna participate in the meeting presenting this to the hospitals? What are we doing?
I can reach out to them when I meet with them and see if they wanna do that.
I'll do it with you.
I feel that it needs to be done.
It needs to be in front of the board.
And then as for me, we have a board.
Yep. You're right. You should make it so.
And Hillsborough, what do they have? The hospital. And do they have directors or board of directors?
For profit.
Maybe we need to meet with them too.
It's for profit, but it's still have a board.
As local people.
Mhm.
And we need to get the community involved, I guess.
If you're good, I'll reach out to them and see if we can get scheduled.
That sounds good. Just let me know, I'll be there.
Okay.
Not gonna throw you in the way or something. Can't be as bad as broken down ambulances.
Exactly.
All right, very good. Thank you, Kurt.
Have a good day, Kurt.
Thanks, guys.
And if Bryce could come back in, we'll come back to Road and Bridge.
I think I'll have to ask him for sure. What things when it's, it was worse than
Deja vu all over again.
Okay. Thank you for allowing us
No problem.
to slip that in. We need to get EMS back in the field. Okay, you would like another executive session?
I did.
Ken.
Yeah.
I thought you and Brad had one.
No, that's just what we talked about there.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said something about having another one, I was like, no.
Okay, I'm sorry. Then we move for a short 5 minutes or 2 minutes? Or
3 minutes.
3 minutes, all right. I move that we recess to executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, not elected personnel performance with the commission. Brad, Bryce, would you like Tina in?
Yeah.
Okay, and Tina for 3 minutes, from 2:50 to 2:53. Second by Commissioner Gary, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion carried, back at 2:53. So we'll move past 2:50. All right, 2:53. We are out of executive session, no decisions made. The next item on our agenda is property acquisition. We'd like an executive session for that one. Let's go 15 minutes. I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss property acquisition pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 6, preliminary discussion acquisition of real estate with Commission. Brad, Tina, 15 minutes from 2:55 to 3:10.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion. Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 3:10.
Let me know when it happens.
Okay, thanks. This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're out of executive session. No decisions made. Let's move into the longevity policy discussion. Tina, did you have the draft policy for us to look at?
Tonight.
Yes, send
He sent to us.
I'm just checking to see you on your toes.
That's all right. I wrote a note on it of the date and time I sent it to you. Maybe. Oh, just the date. But I can reprint.
Nope, just tell
Okay.
us so we can find it online.
December 7th.
Got it. Right there it is. Thank you.
It's well written, easy to understand,
Okay.
and
pretty much what I think we agreed to.
pretty much agree what we at least talked about.
Yeah, I only had one question on number 7.
Okay.
If somebody leaves and comes back.
Yeah, that, I did look at that too. I was wondering, because sometimes it gives you an incentive to
Come back.
And then Tina answered me back and said, you know,
No, it says
we spend a lot of time training them, so it costs us money.
they start over.
Well-
They come
Well, you
back.
have 3 options.
Yeah.
One is to allow those folks to have their previous time count towards longevity. The next one is not to. And the third one would be to do it at a reduced rate.
Oh,
That'd be trouble.
Well, it's all gonna be trouble, and really, our preference in the HR arena is gonna be, it starts over if you leave, because
Aye.
you wanna try to retain your folks, and you have some people that habitually leave and come back, and leave and come back.
That's what longevity is for, is to try to help stay, keep people.
To retain.
Yeah.
But I
But you can
understand
move-
that previous
You can
history
move
and
from
work
different departments
experience
and still keep it.
is valuable.
Well, now, if you move to a new department, that's different.
You still get to keep
You
it.
still get
Right.
to keep it.
But if you leave employment.
Yes.
and then-
completely leave Marion County.
Yeah,
Because there's some big headaches over within the road.
I mean, that's the only question I had.
Okay, but
But
are you on?
it is a good question, and those are the three
Well, it could go
options,
either
I
way.
think that
Okay.
makes sense.
I like the rest of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And changing between departments is no effect.
No.
I didn't
You're
want
remaining employed by Marion
to,
County.
didn't want to be
Yes.
perfect the first time through.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've kept steady employment, then I think the longevity should stay.
Yeah.
But if you quit, I think you start over, no matter, even if they get promoted to a supervisor position, or when they come back, I don't know. I mean, what I'm saying is if you've had 10, 15 years and you leave and then come back or something, I think you ought to start.
Go to 5 before you get one
I
of
mean,
them.
if somebody in the clerk's office worked here for 10 years, then they decide to want to be an equipment operator. They would
It
carry
carries
that
on.
It carries.
to the road and bridge.
Yeah. That'll probably be me. I'll be a motor grader operator.
You'd be all by
after
yourself
this
out there.
job.
You'd be all by yourself,
Well,
nobody to
since
talk
we learned
to.
she likes to sing, she could sing to herself out there.
I could rehearse in the
There you go.
grader.
Every TikTok video's coming straight out of the grader.
All right, now this is fun, but let's bring it back. Okay, so the basic structure the commission is comfortable with. Is that what I'm hearing? Then I'm gonna go to the question of effective date. When do you want to implement this policy? Are you ready?
What would be the appropriate date to implement it?
Well, that's another question I have for you. Because the way the policy is written, if you implement it now, or whenever you're ready to, this has that the longevity would be measured as of November 1st of every year, and it would be paid out on the November payday, which we've already passed that. So if you implement it regardless of the date, then I also am gonna ask you if you wanna do anything yet this year, or if you wanna just have it start next November.
Effective start January 1 or something. Carry forward. We gave them a pay raise.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Could let it go on to the following
next
November.
year.
This year you may not have to do a pay raise.
Well,
That's it.
it would help.
Maybe.
Just so you use, I mean,
The effective date's basically gonna be the date of adoption. And then the way the policy's written, unless you make any kind of an exception, we would measure that the next November 1 after the policy's adopted and pay it out on the next November 30, which at this point would be in 2023.
But we don't have it in the budget for that.
Well, we haven't, no, we don't.
I think it's cleanest to go ahead and do it as of November 1.
I agree, but your pay, I mean, it's not that much. I think we
you-
figured 35,000, 40,000, something like that.
But didn't you make a motion to pay that the first year out of the wind farm funds? So it is, the funding has already been
Allocated.
determined and
For the first year.
for the first year, yeah.
Then the next, 2024, we
I've got it.
Right, so we would have to consider the budget impact for the next year when we do that budget. One other question, do you want me to add, I didn't specifically address elected department heads in this. I don't know if you want to exclude them, or or include them, or do we need to even mention that?
exclude commissioners, I would say.
But I meant the.
Department heads.
Yeah, do you want to?
I think you need to
Include or
include
exclude.
department heads.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Include department heads.
because you work as for the county before he got elected.
Longevity is longevity.
Well, yeah.
I want you to stay no matter
Working here.
where you're at.
Okay, so no exclusion for elected
No
departments.
exclusion for department
Okay.
heads.
And so if there's no exclusion for that, I don't need to necessarily list that, or if they report, mention that separately. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
No.
Elected should be.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions that you have for us?
No, it's just, it was basically a draft, we've approved the concept, based on the policy being written, and so I don't have anything else, I just,
I'll make a motion to approve the concept of the longevity pay as
presented.
we've reviewed.
Okay, longevity plan and effective date for November 1st.
November 1st, yeah, next year.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gary, discussion. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. And I want to thank you, Tina, and your staff for all your work in putting this together. It's come, I've struggled trying to figure out how to do it and do it right. I think you've come up.
Good job.
hopefully it'll
Excellent.
be what it's intended to be and
Yep.
work out.
Yep, very
I
good.
think we can understand it better than the last time I voted on it.
Yes.
That last one was a mess.
Having it simple would be a good.
Yes.
But I didn't find out about it until employees told me that was working. It wasn't.
It's been a good process, and it's a good result.
No, it wasn't actually, it was incorporated into the actual pay plan, not separate.
And that's another advantage, it's a standalone program. Excellent. That brings us to the last item, the one that everybody's been anxiously waiting, time with Councilor Brown James.
First is an executive session involving litigation, we'll just use the generic term.
Litigation.
So attorney-client privilege. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Say that right.
Let's go 20 minutes to start with it. Hopefully we'll be enough.
All right. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with the commission, Brad and Tina, for 20 minutes.
Including Andrew Holder as well.
Oh,
via,
thank you.
Remote.
Including Andrew Holder as well, via remote, from 3:20 to 3:40.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gary, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay, motion carried, we'll be back at 3:40. Oh, I gave my copy to Tina.
Oh, okay.
That was the signature.
Yeah.
That's Tina.
Now I go into it. Exactly.
Must be raining now a little bit.
It's misting.
Misty?
Yep.
This
conference will now be recorded.
Cases, and then I'll need a second one for contract negotiations. And that'll be it for today, I think.
Everything's on.
All right, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. We have 2 more executive sessions before we adjourn today. First one is for litigation. For 5 minutes.
Yeah, that should be plenty.
Okay, I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with Commission Brad and Tina, no one else.
That should be fine, yeah.
Okay, for 5 minutes from 3:45 to 3:50. Second by Commissioner Becker, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay, motion carried 5-0. We'll be back at 3:50. I thought we were going to time.
This conference will now be recorded.
We are out of executive session, no decisions made. We have one last executive session before we adjourn for the day. That would be, I move to recess the executive session in order to discuss contract negotiation.
Attorney-client privilege is your exception.
Thank you. Pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, Item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege. With the commission, Brad, Tina for 10 minutes from 3:50 to 4 o'clock. Is there a second? Second. I'm going to give it to the Commissioner Crowe for discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried. We'll do 5-0. We said cancel the board off. Just to fill us as targeted executive session.
Okay,
can
here
find
we
it.
go. Technology is on.
It's just not fair.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we are out of executive session. No decisions made. Any other business to come before the board?
The only thing that I had, just asking the commission to move ahead to go with, talk to Bryce about possibly moving that property down there, keep the house on that property. Talk to Bryce about that.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
done that yet.
Okay.
Is that in the land bank?
Huh? The one in the land bank, yes.
The only thing I've got is, there's some promotional deals with Milwaukee Tools, and the fire departments we're looking into them. Those deals will end, so it will take essentially a $10,000 bill and make it a $15,000 bill if those promos end before they see us on the 19th. But if they have it on their budget, is there any opposition to them buying the things that they plan on buying
What are
anyway?
you talking about?
The fire chiefs.
They got money.
They got, what's their,
I don't know, but I was told it was in their budget. It's just, they need to bring it before us, but it could cost them $5,000 if they
Well, if they've
wait
got the
that
budget,
long.
they can take advantage.
Okay, well, I just wanted, because there seemed to be a hesitation if
Well, they're gonna be requesting rescue funds, which is in our budget.
yeah, that's in our,
Yeah.
And so if,
it's under our.
if they can save, if they can save.
They can spend their own money.
If it's under the, if they want to spend rescue funds, then they have to come in. Request.
Well, I think that's maybe what's
So
on
do you
this
think
is
it's
we
over,
sawzalls.
do you think it's over the 20,000 or whatever, 25,000?
No, I think this is more of normally a $15,000 bill that's a $10,000 bill because there's a huge promotion going on right now.
So they get a 5,000 discount.
Yeah.
$15,000.
It's basically getting a whole bunch of free batteries when you buy the tool.
For extra.
Yeah, so, but I just wanted to see, if they were to pull the trigger, is there any, as long as they have it in their budget, is there any opposition to it?
Just depends on if they're talking about their budget or rescue fund.
Right. Well, even if it was a rescue fund.
As long as they're under their.
If it's in their budget, they can do it.
It's under the rescue fund, it's 20,000.
How about we let Tina chime in on this?
Well, I just thinking we don't want to delay.
I think that if they are wanting to make a purchase, they would probably have to do it based on what their own budget authority is, and then to come to the board and request the board to reimburse with rescue money.
Okay.
But it would be out of their own budget, and,
That's
I mean,
control of it,
yeah, we wouldn't be able to say yes or no on that.
Yeah.
It would only be if we're buying it directly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I
They're
just-
buying it.
So, I mean, they would, if, in that instance, they're gonna have to buy it if they wanna do it before they come and get approval.
And if we have to reimburse, the likelihood that we approve it is pretty strong. Pretty high.
That's what
Okay. We're good.
it doesn't, it's one business and the fire department were talking, and I was like,
That's a
we
mess.
do have a new board, it's a new makeup, it's been around for a little bit, but it's working pretty well. You can come on in and just talk to us, it's fine.
Don't be scared. All right, anything else?
Comments? We in comments?
Yes.
Regularly scheduled meeting. When we cancel a regularly scheduled meeting, do we need to have a policy?
We should,
Then we need to be looking at that.
yeah.
We have a regular scheduled meeting, and we call it off. Public doesn't know anything about it.
Oh, we send out notice.
Yeah,
Still think there needs to be a policy on why we would. I mean, there's extenuating circumstances, I get that.
All right, we got another one for Brad. Other comments? If not, I move we adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Daring. Discussion. If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We are adjourned. 406.